Hello guys, myself Kamal. I will be teaching you lighting rendering. And in the first class, I'm going to make sure you guys are more familiar with interface. Okay, so lighting rendering part is a pipeline which comes at the end of the product, okay, or at the end of the pipeline. It is the final pipeline of the animation industry. So you know that all the animation pipelines, right? So first we used to create a model, texture, and rigging, and then lighting, animation, okay, all those things. But the final output comes with the rendering part. Okay, so before going into the lighting part, I'll just introduce you the interface, which is very related to the lighting and rendering part. Okay, so which we gonna use every time um, whenever we work for the lighting. Okay, so here you can see, okay, this is the Maya interface. Okay, this whatever you see here is a Maya interface, and whatever seen here. Okay, so this is a basic interface of Maya, and here at the top of the screen you can find menus. Okay, so this is a menu where you can find most common actions for your file. Okay, so here you can create a new file, open scene, okay, save scene, and so on. These all are the basic common menus which you find in the menu bar. Okay, so this is here menus, uh, and here in the below you can find at the below of the menu you can find menu sets. Okay, so here you can find some list of the when you click on the drop box, okay, you will find some of the menu sets here. Okay, what are these menu sets? These menu sets which has the bunch of tools which is related to the names here. So if I go to the modeling part, okay, the menus at the top of the menus, you will find all the menu which is related to modeling part. And if you switch to rigging, okay, you will find the tools and actions or menus which is very common for the rigging part. And here in the animation, you can find the animation tools. And the first seven menus, which is constant for all the tabs. Okay, if you go to the modeling tab or rigging tab or animation tab, effects tab, or rendering tab, you go any tabs. Okay, the first seven menus are same. Okay, it won't be changing. Okay, so look at here, the file from file to Windows, it will be same. Okay, throughout all the tabs, you can see here from this menu, from the 8th menu to the last. Okay, everything is getting changed. Okay, so here mostly we will be working with the rendering part. Okay, so this menu sets which has all the tools which is related to lighting part. So you can see here, okay, lighting and shading, some texture, render, okay, some stereo, okay, and some renderers, okay. So these all things we will be discussing in the later time, okay. And now the next to the menu sets, you can find status line. This is called the status line. Okay, so here the next to the menu sets, you will find status line, where you can find common things. Again, open file. Okay, you can create new file, open file, save file, undo, redo. Okay, and some snap options. And here are the some rendering parts. Okay, rendering and the shader parts. Okay, and we will be using this part. Okay, these tabs, okay, in the status line, and some of the snapping tools, and these all things we always use with the shortcuts. Okay, so you know that to save the file we used to hit Control S. So we don't need these tools, or if you want to undo it, we used to hit Z. Okay, previously in other softwares, you have used Control Z, right? So in Maya, it is Z. So here, the next one is, the next one is shelf. So in the shelf, you can find um, many tabs, okay, many tabs which has some different icons. All the icons are some tools and menus, okay, tools and menus and actions. Okay, so if you go to the curves and surface where you can create some 3D models, okay, this curves and surface which is useful for creating 3D models and polygon modeling. Okay, these buttons or these icons are useful for modeling part. And again, the sculpture, again, it is used for modeling part, and rigging for the rigging part, animation. For the animation, here comes the rendering, which is related with the lighting and rendering part, which we'll be using in the lighting rendering section. So whenever we do a lighting part, we will be using this rendering section. Okay, and other things. Okay, and the last you can find Arnold. We will be using this Arnold too for the lighting, and other things you can explore it. Okay, so here at the left side, okay, you can find some gear button. If you click on this gear button, where you can create a new self. If you Yeah, so if you want your own new self, okay, so you can create your own new self. Okay, I have just added new. Okay, at the last you can find a new shelf, but it has um, empty icons. Okay, it has nothing. The shelf is completely empty. If you want to add, okay, you will be learning all these things um, in other classes. Okay, so how to add this icons over here. Okay, or in the later classes, I'll just explain you how to add some common useful tools and menus um, for new cells. Okay, so here, if you click on the gear options, here you can again delete the shelf. Okay, you can navigate the shelf. Okay, like if you want to bring this menu to the front, you can bring it, or if you bring some other animation menu to the last, you can do the navigation from here. Okay, so this is the shelf, which is very very useful while working with the scenes. Okay, so the next comes viewport. Okay, so here this is called a viewport. Okay, so whatever you find in the center, the box type, okay, it is a viewport. Okay, all the things, okay, whatever you add the scenes or scenes or object, everything will be over here. Okay, you will be working on this place. Okay, so this is something related to the workspace, and at the center you can find a plane. Okay, some kind of plane which is called a grid. Okay, this is something makes your floor or something kind of a ground. Okay, where we used to create our work. If you are working with the modeling part, you will create a model over here. If you are working with the lighting part, your model will be here, and you will be doing lighting here. Okay, so the next things, okay, at the left side, okay, at the left side, you can find toolbox here. Okay, at the left side of the screen, you find toolbox. These toolbox are commonly used for navigating the object and the transforming the objects. Okay, something like if you want to select the object in the scene, or if you want to transform the object in the scene, okay, all these options will be used. Okay, so the first tool is a selection tool. Okay, this is a marquee selection, and this is a paint selection. This is a move tool, rotate tool, and this is a scale tool. This is called toolbox. Okay, at the below of the toolbox, you'll find quick layout or outline button. Okay, so if you can see here the last button is enabled. That's why it looks with the blue highlighted. If you disable it, some box is disappeared. You can see here, right? So this box, okay, this region is called quick layout or outliner button. Okay, so here you can find one window here, right? One viewport. So if you want a 4 viewport, okay, so you have to click here. You can see a 4 icons here. So if you click here, you will find 4 windows, 4 viewports. That means previously we just had a perspective viewport. Okay, along with now we have top viewport, front side, and front viewport and side viewport. Okay, so here, and if you select the next one, you could just got 2 viewports here. One is perspective viewport and another one is front viewport. You can see here. And if I'm just gonna switch to the single viewport now. Okay, this is a perspective viewport, and look at here at the last button. Okay, you can find outliner. This is an outliner. Okay, outliner means whatever you add, whatever things inside the scene will be listed in the outliner. If you have 100 objects here, okay, you can find in the list view of your scene. Okay, whatever objects in the scene you can find here in the list view. Okay, the next part is the right side. Okay, you can find a channel box where you can attribute your object. Okay, you can change the transformations. Okay, the positions, or you can work with the values here. The channel box, which helps you to work with the values, okay, of your objects in the scene. Okay, we will be looking into the channel box. Okay, we have much work with the channel box, and the below here you can find a layer editor. This is a layer editor here, and in the last column of the right side you can find some 3 buttons here. Okay, so the first one, which is highlighted with bold color here, bold white. Okay, the white color. Okay, which is a channel box. Okay, and this middle one, it is a modeling toolkit, which is very related to the modeling part. When you will be doing modeling, you will be using these tools or this window. And the next part, which comes attribute editor. Okay, in the attribute editor, we used to use some advanced options of the object which has created in the scene. Okay, so whatever objects we have created in the scene, we will be having some advanced options in the attribute editor. Okay, fine. Now I will switch back to channel editor. At the below you can find time slider, which is useful for animation. It is similar like a timeline in your other softwares. Okay, and this is, and here you can find at the last you can find playback control. Okay, where you can play. Okay, you can rewind. You can play to the next frame. Okay, so all those things, playback controls, you can find in the last here, and the below of the time range. Okay, you can find a range slider. Okay, below the timeline you can find a range slider. Okay, so where you can decide how many keyframes you need in the timeline. So now we have 120 keyframes here. Okay, this is a 120 keyframes. Okay, so throughout the scene I have just 120 keyframe by default. If you want 500 keyframes, so you can just change from here and you can hit enter. You can see here the timeline changes. Okay, timeline frames changes to the 500. Again, I will switch to 120. Okay, which is not useful for lighting rendering part. So we don't need a time slider here. And the below part, you will find a command line. Okay, this is a command line where we used to add some scripts. And here, this is a help line where we used to get some help whenever we work something here. If we make some error or some mistakes, we will be getting some help over here. Okay, and the last button here, you can find the preference, animation preference here. And this is the last button of the right side of the screen, which is script editor. So we used to write the script over here. Okay, so this is user interface of Maya. Okay, so now let me tell you how to navigate the viewport. Okay, so hold control key from your keyboard or command key from the Mac and left click on the mouse, drag your mouse to rotate your viewport. Hold left click, command or control button from the keyboard and drag your mouse to rotate your viewport. Okay, so and now again, middle mouse button, control key to pan your viewport. Hold control key, middle mouse button. Okay, you can find in the roller button, middle mouse which is situated in the roller button, the wheel button in the mouse. Okay, so if you scroll up and scroll down, you can zoom in and zoom out. Okay, hold control key. Okay, and you can middle mouse to pan, and you can zoom in and zoom out by scrolling. Scroll your mouse wheel. Okay, this is just viewport navigation. Okay, this is just a common things, okay, which you should be very familiar before we enter to the lighting part. Okay, so you should know how to move the things, rotate the things, because we will be rotating the light. Okay, all those things we needed when we will be working with the rendering part. Okay, so now next things which is important here, before we create any project. Okay, I'm working on some project, so before we work or before we start some project, we used to create some structures here, some project structures. So here on the top, okay, you can find the file, go to the file, and here at the last, okay, under the project, you can find the project window. If you click on the project window here, okay, so there is some pop-up option here, project window. So now I'm just going to create a new project window here, new project. So what is this project? So guys, when you work on some other softwares, okay, after working, you used to save your file, and if you used to keep some related data in some folders, right? The same things which we are creating in the Maya by default. Okay, so now look at here. I'm going to create class 1. Okay, now I'm going to make this folder in my desktop. If you want to change the location, you can click on this folder button, and here you can change your location of your project file. And here these are the primary basic or important, which is necessity for the project. Okay, these are the folders which is very necessity. If you want to change the names, you can change, but I recommend you not to change these names. This is very important namings. Okay, so I'm not gonna edit anything over here. I just renamed it and I have selected the location, and I'm going to accept it. Once I hit accept, okay, what happens is I got in the desktop. In the desktop, you can find I got a folder which is created just now. Okay, class 1. If you go to the folder, class 1, you can find so many folders, subfolders here. So here, if you save your file, okay, if you save your scene will be saved inside here. Okay, if you are working with the images, okay, it will be kept over here in the source image. And when we will be working in the rendering part, when you take a final output, the final output will be saved inside the images. And here you can find autosave. And this is something important. I'll just explain you next of this project folder. Okay, so here you can find some sounds. Okay, you can keep some sound clips if you are working with the animation part. Okay, these all are the subfolders, which is very important for project folder. And guys, whenever you are working with any project, okay, I recommend you to create a project folder. Okay, so we have created a project folder, okay, as a class 1, and we got some project subfolders which will be kept inside my thing. Okay, so now I'm going to switch back to my Maya. Okay, now go to file. If you, now look at here, guys, in the project folder, you can see here in the scene, something, anything, there is nothing inside the scene folder, you can see here. So that means nothing, everything is completely empty. This project folder is completely empty. So go to Maya, and now I'm going to file. I'm going to save the scene. Okay, you can see here. Okay, in the folder, you can save your file. New one, or you can give any name. Okay, so now you can find that your project is saved inside the scene. Okay, so this is very helpful, because if you work with the project folder, that means you have minimized um, some missing files, all those things. Okay, sometimes whenever we work with the project, sometimes we find our file is missing. So if you work with the project window or project folder, your file missings and some missing data will be avoided here. Okay, so now, so we learned how to create a new project window. Okay, and now the next part is go to Windows. This is something very important. Now go to Window here, and at the last, okay, and here editors last, you can find the preference and settings. Okay, go to the preference here. Okay, this is a preference where you can customize your Maya views here. Okay, so you can customize some display options, UI options, some animation options. Okay, so you can find all the some customization options in the preference. Okay, some settings you can change over here. Depends on the requirement which you like. So here at the last side, okay, you can find undo. Okay, just click on the undo. Okay, by default, you'll find finite undo. Okay, I recommend you to go with infinite when you are working. When you are very new to the Maya, I recommend you to work with the infinite, because you have now unlimited undos. Okay, so your Maya can remember unlimited undos. Okay, you can hit Control Z or Z as many times. Okay, to retain your previous work. And finite means it is just by default, you can just undo 50 times. Okay, so beyond the 50 times, you cannot retain your file. Okay, so now I'm just going to infinite. Okay, and here, the next part is go to the file. Okay, file or project. Here you can see auto save. Just enable the auto save. Okay, I'm not gonna change anything here. Interval means in what interval your computer have to save your file. This is 10 minutes by default. Okay, let it be 10 minutes. Okay, in 10 minutes, okay, your project will be automatically saved. Guys, I recommend you to do this both. Okay, auto save as well as undo options. Okay, so this will help you to save your file. Okay, you don't. Sometimes we work. Okay, sometimes what not sometimes for me. What I've done is sometimes I have worked my files. Okay, which is nearly completed, and suddenly my computer get crashed. So at the last, I have no file to be recovered. Okay, so to prevent file crash, or to prevent to save your file properly, okay, I recommend you to enable this autosave and undo, and now hit save. So guys, so this is just a basic interface of Maya. Okay, and at the top right, corner, you can find the workspace. Okay, by default, it will be a Maya Classic. Okay, if you are working with the modeling part, you can click on the modeling standard. That means you can see some animation related tabs is hidden, right? So now you have only tools which is related to modeling part. Okay, so if you are very expert in the modeling, then you can go with expert. Okay, which the menus will be hidden everything. Okay, so here you can find the rendering part. Okay, so these all things we will be using while working or lighting the scene. Okay, so this rendering standard will be useful for us. Okay, so now I'll switch back to Maya Classic, and before that, you can, if you find something strange in your Maya Classic, or if you find something strange or some missing in your viewport or in your interface, you can just hit a reset current interface. Okay, so it will switch to the default interface. Okay, so here, or you can create your own interface. Okay, you can save your anything. You can save your workspace. Okay, so if you don't want to have outliner here, you can take out. Okay, so and you can modify your interface and you can save from here. Okay, so this is what the basic interface of user interface of Maya. Okay, the next part we'll move to the lighting part, the basic lighting part here. So guys, the next topic is lighting. Okay, so here in the lighting part we have many renderers. Okay, so something like you might have heard Mental Ray, okay, V-Ray. Okay, so in this lighting rendering, okay, we will be working with Arnold. Arnold is also a most welcomed renderer in the industry these days. Okay, in industries, people are using Arnold renderer. Okay, and it is more powerful. And the advantage of Arnold is it is more fast. Okay, it is faster than other renderers. Okay, so even I have V-Ray. Okay, so you can see V-Ray, but it is more powerful. And even V-Ray is also good, but it takes more time. Okay, so Arnold is much faster than the other renderers. Okay, so let's jump into the lighting part. Okay, I'm just going to introduce you some lights. Okay, here I'm going to open a new scene. Okay, so I have some scene here. Okay, a new project. Okay, scene, and this model I'm gonna work with right now. Okay, this is just a simple model. Okay, you can see here it has just a table. Okay, table, a computer, and the lamp. Okay, it's just a basic one here. And look at here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to introduce you some lights here. Okay, when you go to create, okay, and here under the create you can find lights. Okay, now look at here. Can you see a dotted lines here? When you drag these dotted lines, or when you click on these dotted lines, you can tear off this menu from the window here. Okay, or every time you have to go here and you have to select the lights. Okay, instead of going here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tear off it. Okay, this menu from the window. Okay, so once it is done, now you can see that, okay, in the Arnold, okay, under the Arnold, I have lights. Okay, and now I'm going to just tear off it here. Okay, so the right side of the light, which is tiered from the Arnold, okay, which is the Arnold light, and the left side, which is accessed from the create menu, and under the lights, okay, we have just got this lights. Okay, this light is Maya default light. Okay, since I'm working from the beginning, okay, since I think from past 12 years, I'm just looking into the same lights. Okay, this is a very old lights. Okay, from the beginning of the Maya. Okay, these lights were there from the beginning of the Maya version. Now you are using 2020 or 2019, right? So these lights were from the beginning of the Maya, and these lights in the right side, okay, which is called Arnold light, which is introduced when Arnold is integrated with the Maya. Okay, so this has some most advanced features and something powerful. Okay, or it is more quicker than these lights. Okay, so I'll just introduce you. Okay, now for now I'm just going to close Arnold light. Okay, I'm using Maya default light for right now. Okay, first light you can see ambient light. Okay, ambient light doesn't work in the Arnold. So I have created ambient light. When you hit W, you can move your light. Okay, so you all know that. Okay, so you can see here. Look into closer. Okay, this is an ambient light. First light I've created ambient light. You can see here, whatever inside the scene, okay, it will be listed view in the outliner. So you can see here, ambient light. So ambient light, it gives you the light in the uniform way. Okay, it just gives the parallel light or flat lights. Okay, flat light. Okay, but the thing is, it doesn't work in the Arnold renderer. Okay, when I just hit play button here, still my scene is empty. Okay, it's darker. Okay, where I can see ambient light. Okay, you can see here the rendering here. Okay, when you render here in the Maya software, you can find this light. Okay, I'm just using Maya software. Okay, Maya software render. Okay, where you can find your scene is completely flat. The light is completely balanced everywhere. You can see here. Nowhere you can say that in this position or in this place light is less. Okay, the light is gradually parallel everywhere. Okay, so this is what ambient light, but this doesn't work with Arnold. Okay, when I work with Arnold, okay, the scene is completely black. Okay, that means it is not working. So I'm just going to delete the ambient light. Okay, now the next light is a directional light. Okay, so we don't have use of ambient light. Okay, I'll explain you the similar of ambient light in the later things. Okay, later classes. So now I have directional light. It is similar to the sunlight. Okay, so whatever the property of the sun we have, it works similar of the sun. Okay, and the light emits in the one direction. You can see here the arrows. The light just emits in the single direction. It's not in the multi-direction. Okay, in the ambient light, you can see the light were emitted in the all the directions, right? So in the direction light, you can find the light emits only in the one direction. Okay, which is facing towards these arrows. So now I'm just going to hit. I'm just going to Arnold and gonna hit render. Okay, and now you can find my light is visible. Okay, my scene is visible here, right? So here you can see here. So I have created the plane. Okay, something a little bit curved. Okay, that's why you have this curved shadow. Okay, that doesn't matter. Okay, I'm just going to explain you properties of the light. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rotate the light. Okay, if you rotate the light, okay, you can find the shadow moves according to the direction of the light. That's why I told you this works similar to the sun. Okay, so here. So this is okay. And now look at here, the shadow is a little bit harder, right? So this is the direction light. And now in the left side, okay, you can find the attribute editor. Just click on the attribute editor where you can find more detailed values of the attribute. Okay, detailed value of the object or the light or anything. Okay, so here in the attribute editor, we can access some advanced option of the light or any objects. Okay, so in this scene, okay, we are just accessing advanced option of the directional light. Now you can see here that in the directional light attribute, the first one is a directional light. Okay, the type is directional light, and you can see a color. Okay, so here, okay, so here you can see yeah, so something was blocking my permission to access this color. Okay, so I just gave the permission here. For your case, this pop-up won't be appeared. Okay, so just click on the color. Okay, where you can choose the colors. Okay, you can see here when I change the color, you can see this is affected in the scene. So now you can go with any colors, okay, which you wanted. Okay, so for now I'm just going to work with orange color. Okay. Or you can choose over here. Okay, so you can choose the color here. Okay, so now apart from the color, okay, the third one is intensity. Intensity means how much brighter you want. Okay, so if you increase more intensity, the scene will be more bright. Okay, so by default it will be 1. And the next one is illuminate by default. Okay, when you click on the illuminate or default, the light will be completely darkened. Okay, so if you want in the scene, if I want to just eliminate one light, okay, so we can just eliminate one light from the scene. Okay, and it will work for the other things. Okay, if this case works with the more lights. Okay, so I will be explaining you when we work with the advanced lighting techniques. Okay, so just remember, if I just disable the illuminate light, okay, it just ends with the darken the scene. Okay, so now I'm just going to re-render it. Okay, now, okay, so now you can find emit diffuse and emit specular. In this case, okay, Arnold doesn't understand emit diffuse or emit specular. Okay, these lights we are working for, these lights, this direction light is from Maya default light. Okay, and we are using Arnold render. But the thing is, Arnold cannot understand emit default, okay, emit diffuse or emit specular from the default Maya lighting. Okay, so these two buttons doesn't work. Okay, so it doesn't work. So that's fine. So emit diffuse means delete or avoid the colors. Okay, emit specular means you can see some glossiness, right? Some reflection. Okay, so the specular, if I just disable this one, disable emit specular, that means it will avoid metallic some reflections. Okay, there won't be any reflection in the scene. Okay, so emit diffuse means it will avoid all the colors. Okay, we will look into these things, don't worry. Okay, so in the below part you can see Arnold. Okay, in the Arnold, okay, now we have more powerful features for the light, for the directional light here. You can see color temperature. Okay, so whatever color I have selected here, it will be overridden with the color temperature of Arnold. This is more advantage. Okay, so I'm just using this color tone with this color temperature. This color temperature works with Kelvin temperature. Okay, so you might have heard in your physics class. Okay, Kelvin temperature. So if I go with lesser value, I'm getting the warm light. If I get with the maximum values, I'm getting the cool light. Okay, so you can choose your color. with the color temperature here. If you increase more exposure, it works similar like the intensity. Okay, it will just brighten your scene. Okay, by increasing the exposure. So in the angle, okay, if I increase the angle, it will just soften my shadows. You can see that previously my my shadow was sharp, but in real world, okay, shadow, you cannot find sharp shadows. Okay, so you can find the difference here, guys. Okay, so this is what angle is. Angle means it will just work with the shadows. Okay, the shadow in the rendering part, in the lighting part, okay, shadows take 50% of the work. Okay, so we have to consider the detail of shadows. Then only we can get accurate lighting output. So if I increase the shadow angle, okay, sorry, angle values, okay, I will be getting more softened light. And now you can see that shadow is not much. What to say? The shadow is not much in the detail. You can see there are some noise in the shadow. You can see literally in the edge. Okay, that there are so many noises in my shadow. So to avoid those shadows, we have to increase sampling. Okay, so guys, if you increase more sampling, that means the render times takes much. Okay, you can see here. It takes more render time. It will sample again and again for the 3 times. Okay, so it will re-render the same place for the 3 times. So now we got this output. For the previous output, we got so many noise, right? So now you can see that my shadow is a little bit softer in the edge because of the sample. You should not increase more shadows like 15. So for this scene, we just need 3 samples. Okay, so you have to find out, okay, this comes under when you practice a lot. Okay, guys, basically lighting and rendering is something kind of experiment. If you do more experiment, you will get more values. Okay, you have to remember these values. Okay, this comes under experiment. Okay, you have to do more practice. So here, do not increase unnecessary more sample values. Okay, that will take more RAM performance, and what will it will just take more render time. Okay, and it will take more computer performance. Okay, so work with the proper minimal sample values. And now you can see shadow density. If I just reduce the shadow density, okay, you can find the softness of the shadow here. Okay, so you can control your shadow density. Okay, the softness of the shadow. If I just hit normalize, okay, again it will just normalize the entire scene without the light. Okay, so we don't need this normalize right now. Okay, we will be using in the later scenes. Okay, and if I just disable this cast shadow, if I just off this cast shadow, that means your shadow from the scene will be deleted. Okay, if I enable the cast shadow, the shadow will be enabled in the scene. Okay, so this light can cast the shadows. Okay, the shadow man. Okay, so here I can increase some more. Yeah, 0.7 is a proper one. Okay, in real world, we don't have a sharp shadow. Okay, we will be having a soft shadow. The shadow always soft. Okay, now you can see here volume samples. We are not working with a fog. If I'm working with the fog, okay, then we need this to cast fog shadow and fog samples. Again, when we work with the fog, we will work with these 2 values. Okay, and now you can see visibility. Guys, you remember at the beginning, I have told emits diffuse or emit specular doesn't work in the Arnold. Okay, but to access these 2 features, okay, Arnold have given inside the visibility. Inside the Arnold, you can find visibility. If you reduce the diffuse, that means the color will be eliminated from the scene. Okay, and if you reduce the specular, okay, the specularity will be reduced from the scene, but this scene doesn't have specularity. For showing you these things, I'll just do something here. Okay, this is hyper shade. Okay, where we work with the materials. Okay, so guys, these things you will be learning in a modeling part. Okay, so I will explain you. Don't worry these things, but we are not going to work more with shaded part. Okay, more with texturing part. We will be just working with lighting and rendering part. So I'm just finding a shader called AI standard surface. So I have created AI standard surface, and here I want to just work with the preset, find some metal. Okay, let me go with copper. Okay, so here this is the metal. Okay, so now I'm just going to apply this. Guys, my Maya is crashed because of the things which I created right now. Let me reopen the Maya and I'll get you back. So again, guys, I retained my Maya. So now what I did is, so I just created AI standard material, and I have just added some color here. Okay, with a preset of gold. Okay, previously I just selected the copper and it was just messed up, right? So now I just created, I just selected the normal one. Okay, right now it just worked properly. So here you can see the preview here. It's completely messy, right? Okay, so that's fine. So we don't. So guys, again, I just retained my file. Okay, I have applied a material here. Okay, this comes with the texturing part. Okay, so modeling and texturing part. Okay, so I'll gonna just share you this file. Okay, everything will be with the proper same texture and the material. Okay, you can go here and you can just change the color and material. You can assign it when I'm just using this one. I'm just getting some error here, or my getting crashed. Okay, at the end of the class, I'll tell you how to apply this so that I can complete my teaching. Okay, so now look at here. I have applied some glossiness or some specularity. You can see here in the render. Okay, this has some metallic features, right? So now I'm going to move to attribute editor. Now I told you guys, okay, if I just click on emit diffuse, that means all the colors should be removed from the scene or render, right? But it doesn't happen here. Okay, you can see here the specularity is off, but still I can see in my render. Okay, so to access these two values, okay, you have to go to null, inside and null. Okay, we have worked with some exposure, right? Yeah, and in the angle, and the sampling gonna be 3. Yeah, this is fine. And here you can slow down some shadow density. Yeah, some nearly to be 0.7 or something. And here comes the visibility tab. Under visibility tab, you can find diffuse. So if I just remove all the diffuse, you can only see specularity. You can see here the night lamp. It has some specularity. You can see here. Okay, so this works with when we work with some multiple lights. Okay, so if your director says, okay, for this directional light, he needs some different kind of specularity for this night lamp or study lamp, okay, then we will be using that. Okay, for working with multiple lights, okay, we can control visibility. Okay, so for some lights, particular light, okay, assume that I have 10 lights. For one light, I don't want specularity, so I can just reduce the specular. That means you can see that the scene doesn't have any specular. It doesn't have any reflection. Okay, so this is what the things we can avoid some properties through visibilities. And here the next one is subsurface scattering. Okay, this is something like something working with the bouncing. Okay, so it will be guys, when light falls in some objects, okay, we have some bouncing lights, right? To control some bouncing light, we use this here. And you can look into the indirect lighting. Okay, again, it comes with indirect lighting means which we didn't add it. Okay, which is called in the some bouncing lights. Okay, so the bouncing light, which is called indirect lighting, which we didn't add. The light bounces from the multiple surface and which hits to the objects, and we get some output. Okay, previously in the mental ray, okay, or in in Maya default renderer, okay, we have to enable global illumination. Okay, global illumination and indirect lighting. So to enable the bouncing light. So in Arnold renderer, we just have to work with indirect lighting. If you enable indirect lighting, okay, to 1, okay, you will get more bouncing lights. So you can see that it's still working on. There are some noise, so still it is rendering. So volume, we don't have volume light. We didn't work with any fog light, so we don't have to work with the volume right now. I'll explain you this later. Okay, so right now we work with the directional light. Guys, once you finish the render, stop this play button here so that the RAM performance will be mild. Okay, so now the next thing is next things we are going to work with the next light here. Go to create, and here on light you can find point light. Okay, so before that, I'm just gonna delete my directional light. So now I'm going to create a point light. Okay, so here. Here is the point light. Now, so here you can see point light. Okay, so I have just created a point light. When I hit render, you can see here. Okay, the point light gives the emits the light towards all direction. Okay, you can see here. So I'm just moving the view here. Okay, so now you can see here your light is emitting towards all direction. It is something like a omni light. Okay, so this is what advantage of the point light. The point light works. The point light works when you need to light candle. Okay, when you want to do a candle lighting, or when you want to make some fire. Okay, for fire lighting. Okay, so in those cases we use point light. It will be much effective for these two cases. Okay, so here you can change the color. Okay, so here you can change the color of your point light, or you can choose any light. Okay, any colors. Okay, so you can see here. And the same intensity, if you increase the intensity, that means the scene will be more dark. Okay, and in the same these attributes are similar to what we worked with the directional light. Okay, this is the directional light. So here, so now I'm going to move to Arnold tab. Okay, inside Arnold tab, you can find color. Okay, again, you can choose warm color or cool colors. Okay, and again, you can increase exposure. Okay, you can find the intensity. Okay, the intensity will be focused on the center. Okay, the center of the light. Okay, and look into the samples. Okay, if I increase the samples, this means it will reduce the noise, and the radius over here, okay, which will just um, soften your the shadows. Okay, in the point light, the radius, if you increase the radius, okay, it will just soften the shadows. Okay, and now these all are similar to the lights which we worked with. The directional light, if I just reduce the diffuse, there won't be any colors, just there will be visibility of the diffuse. Okay, similar. Okay, all those things are similar. So now I'm just going to stop this one. And now here, we are going to move to the next slide, which is spotlight. Okay, here you can see here, it started. The spotlight, something like a cone light. Okay, something which looks like a cone. Okay, and you might have seen this kind of light in some festive places. Okay, so this is a cone. Okay, if you want to work with the flashlight or some kind of torch light, okay, where you can use spotlight, but spotlight has some more uses in different kind of scenes. In different scenarios, we use this spotlight. Okay, when we do some lighting in the real scene with advanced lighting technique, you'll understand. Now, for this first class, just understand the property of the light. Okay, so this just gives some this kind of some cylindrical light values. Okay, so you can see here. This slide should work with the render view of Arnold. I don't know why it is making some problem here. I think the spotlight is visible, but you can see here, okay, the spotlight is visible in very less intensity. So what we have to do is we have to increase the intensity to view the spotlight, and you can see the same settings here. Okay, decay rate doesn't work with Arnold. Okay, and here you can see a cone angle. Okay, so you can see here the angle of the cone differs when the value is increased. Okay, and if I increase the penumbra angle, okay, it will just soften the edge of the border of your spotlight. Okay, you can see the spot is something hard, right? If I just increase penumbra angle, okay, it will just harden the edges of the light. Okay, so here, and the drop off will just fade off the light which within the spot. Okay, so it will just fade in the inner part of the light. Okay, so the next comes the Arnold part. Here you can increase more exposure to see more value here, and if you increase the radius, okay, it will just soften your shadows. Okay, so I have just increased more value here, and you can see here. Okay, I'm just working with 0.8 or 0.9. Okay, that will be more fine. Okay, and look at here. I have got so many noise, so you have to increase the samples. So if you increase sample to 3, okay, you can find the difference between the previous and the present render. Okay, this is not yet completed. Okay, the number of sample increases, the render time increases, and the computer performance increases. Okay, so always work with the proper minimal value, guys. Okay, so now the the render is completed. The roundness. Okay, so here you can just um, decide this roundness of the starting here. Okay, so here, and if you just avoid cast shadow, that means the shadow will be avoided. Okay, and the shadow density, so the shadow will be more lighter, you can see here, and the lens radius. The lens radius gives, if you have some beam light, okay, then we works with the lens radius. But in this case, it won't be visible in the scene. Okay, so we don't have some kind of a beam light. If you have a wall and some light is passing through some circular space, then we need the radius light, or else we don't need this one. Okay, and again, the visibility, all those things are similar. Okay, so now I'm just going to stop this render and I'm going to just move to the next slide, which is area light. Okay, and the area light, okay, this area light, the area light which gives the light in one direction. Okay, in the square shape you can see here. Okay, and towards it just emits the light in quadratic emission in through the parallel surface. Okay, so it gives the uniform value here. Okay, so you can see here. Okay, you can see. So if the advantage of area light is, if I just scale up my light, okay, so it just gives me some values here. The values differs. Okay, so to look into that, let me increase some intensity, and even we can work with some exposure. Excuse me. So now you can see here. The light matters. Okay, the intensity matters when I just scale down or scale up. Okay, in the area light. But yeah, but working with, I always go with I always prefer to go with area light of Arnold here. Okay, in the Arnold, under the lighting, you can find area light. It is more powerful than this light. Okay, so if you want to use area light, then we can go with area light. If I create area light, okay, this light, okay, in this light, I will be just having this Arnold attribute. I won't be having these attributes in Arnold area light. So this is not needed here. Okay, so we only need Arnold settings in the Arnold area light. So you can see here the samples. These all are similar. If we increase the samples, The shadow will be more, the noise will be avoided. Okay, the sampling means the noise will be more avoided here. Okay, and the resolution you can decide. Okay, the resolution means you can go with minimum, you can go with 512 or you can go with 1080. Okay, okay, it just decides the beam of the area light. Okay, and the spread, how much spread we needed. Okay, and volume light, we don't have any volume light. Diffuse, you can see the same visibility. In the visibility, if you want to reduce the diffuse, okay, you won't see any color, you can only see a specularity. Okay, so this is similar, this is just similar like the previous lights. Okay, this is what the properties and types of the light, guys. Okay, so this is just a basic class, guys. Okay, so in the next class we will be working more advanced with the light features. Okay, light advanced attributes. We will be using more advanced techniques of the lights, okay, to make the scene better. Okay, now we don't have any textures, right? So the lights or the scene will be just normal. Okay, so the 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 purpose of this class is um, to make sure you guys are familiar with the properties of the light. Okay, and here the last light is volume light. The last light is the volume light, which doesn't work with Arnold render, so it is useless. So you cannot see volume light here. Okay, so it is, we don't use this volume light with Arnold here. So we instead of that we use some other things. Okay, I will be explaining you Arnold lights properties in the next classes. Okay, so this has more detailed things to go with. Okay, the Arnold light features. Okay, so I'm just gonna teach you with separate class for Arnold lights here. Okay, so this is what today's class is. Okay, so user interface. Okay, so you have to be familiar with user interface, guys. You know what, the lighting rendering is the last part. So if you are familiar with Maya, then you can understand lighting and rendering more better. So now I can understand that. Okay, so most of you will be just thinking what is happening in this session. Okay, don't worry about that. Okay, I will make sure you will be familiar with lighting and rendering techniques in the further classes. Okay, so in meantime, guys, please be more familiar with the interface. Okay, interface is more important. Guys, light only visibles, okay, or light matters with the colors. Okay, you can see the nearby things. Okay, so if you have a texture, in the scene, the light visibility differs. Okay, so I'll explain you. I will explain you with more texturing and shading part and the lighting part in the next classes. Okay, so this class is just with properties of the light. Okay, so properties of the light and the interface of Maya. Okay, so this is done. Okay, so see you guys in the next class. Bye.